When Ferrari announced that Mattia Binotto was leaving the team, many didn't know it would have a domino effect and cause the reshuffling of bosses in the 2023 season. It's common for drivers to move around teams within F1, but 4 teams reshuffling and switching bosses within 24 hours has yet to occur. Ferrari, McLaren, Sauber, and Williams are the teams in question. Even a manufacturer, Audi, that hasn't joined F1 yet also got included in the merry-go-round. What triggered the movement, and who went where? Rumors that the Ferrari team's principal, Mattia Binotto, was going to get the boot had begun going around after the summer break of the 2022 season. Ferrari had debunked the claims, but people had doubts as the team was already in talks with potential replacements. Then, in a not-so-shocking turn of events, the team announced after the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix that Binotto was going to resign at the end of the year. The team didn't mention who would serve as a replacement as they were still trying to weigh their options, and they revealed that the replacement was going to be announced in January 2023. According to rumors, they considered Ross Brawn, Christian Horner, Andreas Seidel, Jean Todt, and Fred Vasseur. Usually the teams took a team principal from within the organization as they had a 15-year promotion strategy, but they decided to hire from outside the team due to unknown reasons. Just a few weeks after the announcement of Mattia Binotto's resignation, the Sauber team, Alfa Romeo, also revealed that Fred Vasseur, the team's principal and CEO, was going to leave at the end of the year. The announcement got people wondering, as Fred had played a key role in taking the team to its current position. But they didn't have to wonder for long, as Ferrari announced shortly after that Fred was joining the team as the team's principal. That was significantly an upgrade for Fred despite his key role in Sauber. He is quite lucky as he is the choice of Ferrari chairman John Elkann and CEO Benedetto Vigna, unlike Mattia, who was an inheritance from the Sergio Marchionne and Luis Camilleri era. Mattia was not particularly their favorite, and they believed he didn't deliver all he should have in the 2022 season. So there is a high chance that he was allowed to leave on his own accord. Fred Vasseur becoming Ferrari's team principal meant Sauber's Alfa Romeo was without one. Still, they didn't have to go for long, as they also announced McLaren's Andreas Seidel as their new CEO. Seidel joined McLaren in 2019 as team principal, and his performance was remarkable as he is one of the highly rated team bosses in F1. He was even considered for the team's principal spot in Ferrari. His joining Sauber as CEO is an upgrade because he was just a team principal at McLaren. Still, in another sense, it's a step backwards competitively, because McLaren is ahead of the Sauber team performance-wise. Seidel is only the CEO, so his first duty would be to appoint a viable team principal this 2023. Audi, the German manufacturer, has bought into Sauber ahead of the 2026 season, and Seidel joining them as the CEO was thought through because he already had a relationship with the German manufacturer. He had successfully led the Porsche Le Mans Volkswagen project before joining McLaren and worked with Sauber in F1 before, including when it was the BMW Works team. When Seidel left McLaren, the team passed on the reins of management to Andrea Stella. Andrea, who was already a part of the team, has a big shoe to fit in because Seidel was a key player in McLaren's decision to return to be a title contender and played a huge role in restructuring the team. But Stella replacing Seidel indicates that McLaren's CEO, Zak Brown, intends to follow the path Seidel followed because Stella was part of the team and was already familiar with all the plans. Before joining McLaren in 2015, Stella had already worked with Michael Schumacher, Kimi Räikkönen, and Fernando Alonso at Ferrari. He is a successful engineer who has worked with technical director James Key and production director Piers Thin as part of the three-man leadership team. He has immense knowledge of F1 and is very familiar with McLaren's ways, so he is undoubtedly suitable for the job. As we mentioned earlier, the Williams team also suffered a sudden switch in power. Still, unlike McLaren and Alfa Romeo, it wasn't because their team principals got hired by another team. The team's principal, Jos Capito, and the technical director, François-Xavier Desmaisons, suddenly called it quits and left the team high and dry. Unlike the other teams, they had not begun searching for a replacement when they made the announcement, so they're still waiting to reveal who will replace them. The reason behind their exits is unknown, but it might have something to do with the fact that Dorilton Capital, the owners of Williams, is thinking of selling and is not willing to invest in the team before the sale. The team barely had 8 points in the 2022 season and was last on the Constructors' Championship table. Capito and Frank must have found no reason to stay with all the confusion in the team, and with Dorilton Capital making no plans to invest in the team, it must have made matters worse. Hopefully, the replacements will lead to a positive change in direction for the team, as they are way behind on everything. But what triggered the movement of bosses from one team to another? One common reason is that this new cost cap era has had the team bosses make more cogent decisions, and any mistake is attributed to them. Once upon a time, most team principals paid their way out of most mistakes. They only had to go to the company board or parent car manufacturer to get the funds to do the job properly. If they intended for the team to do better or correct an issue with the car, it all came down to asking for more checks to be written so that they could pay their way out of the mistake. Now that the budget cap is in place, those days are over. The FIA knew F1 was more of a spending competition than a race, as the performance levels mostly came down to who spent the most. They wanted it to be more about the technical abilities of the team and the driver's capabilities, so they decided on the budget cap. As the budget cap is now in place and the teams are spending the same amount on developing their cars, the team principal's abilities are more obvious as they have to make smart and efficient decisions to keep them ahead on the track. No team can continue to use the excuse that they're behind because some teams have more access to funds. In this new F1 era, the team's principals play an important role, and you can see that the teams realize the importance of a solid team principal. From the replacement of Mattia with Vasseur in Ferrari to Seidel's appointment in Sauber, you can see that the team's senior management is considering who can effectively put the team ahead despite the budget cap. A team principal needs to know that performance in recent times is not determined by who brings a front wing upgrade at every race. That is not even achievable because of the tight budget. Instead, good performance is determined by doing better in areas where effective performance must come at little to no cost. They must fully understand the rules to ensure that any money spent is aimed at improving the car's performance and not being wasted. They also need to know where the staff is required to perform efficiently in the organization, and some people will only be left with a major role. The staff members should also be the best at every level, from the designer to the pit crew who change the wheels on the track. Every team member should know how important it is to do their bit because there's no way to cover up mistakes anymore. The team principal also has to know the right time to bring in upgrades, as the team's performance has to be good all year round to be at the top. If the team comes in with all the upgrades at the beginning of the season, they won't have any more money for anything else towards the end of the season, which might hinder their performance. A lot of things come to play for a team to be successful, but an experienced team principal with a great sense of responsibility is important. The new bosses for the F1 teams in the 2023 season have a lot of experience, and they seem to be the right fit for the job. Hopefully they'll make the 2023 season more entertaining compared to the 2022 season. Well, thank you for watching until the very end. Please kindly share your thoughts in the comments section down below, and don't hesitate to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.